What's up, Coach Paul Sorrentos here. This week, I'm not going to bore you with what I did well and not last week. We're going to talk about gaining and losing weight, why it doesn't always happen the way you want to, and what I do when things don't go as planned. So let's hop into it. If you look at my weight recently, well, I'm up over 10 pounds, and this is not intentional. I was trying to get down to 225 pounds, but you can see I'm up close to 240, so I'm not trying to gain weight, but I just like eating. By default, I'm a big eater, just like my dad and grandpa. So at this point, I'm ready to say screw it and go for 245. So let's look at why my weight loss attempt failed, because I think a lot of people can relate to this. Common mistakes. One, I wasn't really committed to it. It was just kind of a general, I want to lose weight, lean out for summer. I want to get down to 225. But when the rubber met the road and there was delicious food in front of me, I didn't have that commitment in place or the rules in place to follow. So I would eat them and I would get full, and you're not going to lose weight doing that consistently. You can do it once in a while, but not every day like I was. So I had no plan, no targets, just winging it, hoping for results to come. And I think a lot of people do this. They don't really, have a plan. That your plan could be a calorie target. So for me, that's 2,900 calories per day average. Or just general rules like no snacks, stick to 3 meals and a protein shake after workouts, or setting an evening cutoff, no eating after 7 p.m. is a good one, or in general, especially at dinner, stop eating when you're 80% full. Don't get stuffed, but I love getting stuffed at dinner. I was eating too much at dinner, I was snacking too much and not on healthy stuff, mostly like my kids' cereals or desserts, whatever, it's delicious, YOLO. It's nothing crazy, but my default appetite is eating until I'm full. I like to eat. My dad and grandpa both ate themselves to be very big, overweight, unhealthy people. And that's why I'm more conscious of it. And when I do end up getting up to 250, 260, I turn it around and get back to normal weight. But most weight gain happens when you're eating in the evening. Most people aren't getting overweight because they're eating too big of a breakfast or lunch. Most people are spilling over into a surplus with dinner or with snacks in the evening. And then you eat and you sit around. You sit around and then you go to sleep. So you're just storing all that extra energy as body fat. It'll help if you have lifted weights that day, then some of it will go towards building muscle, but in general, that's why people get fat. So lately, my activity levels and sleep have been great. I've still been getting my 10,000 steps a day, 80,000 steps per week, working out 4 to 5 times a week, but you can't out-exercise a calorie surplus. Even when I was playing football at Michigan, training way more than I am now, I was eating 4,500, 5,000 calories a day, so I was gaining weight. It's so easy to eat more calories than you burn. It's very hard. Cardio is just going to put a little dent in those excess calories, but to out-exercise all those calories that you're stuffing in your face is nearly impossible unless you just exercise all day long, which unless you're an elite athlete, you can't. So what am I going to do now? I've been feeling great. I've enjoyed eating more. I feel like my hormones are increasing because your testosterone levels will drop if you have low body fat percentage for a long time. And a lot of times this is why people can't sustain low body fats, because they feel like shit. They have low energy, they lose their sex drive, they lose their strength, and they realize, it's not worth it. Now, I don't feel that way, even though my testosterone levels measure a little low, around 400 for full testosterone levels. I feel okay. So it was never enough for me to eat more just because of it. I eat more just because I like to eat by default. I've been hitting PRs in the gym, which doesn't happen often. It just doesn't happen when you're eating at maintenance or in a deficit when you're an advanced lifter like me. I only see significant strength gains when eating in a surplus, and it feels good. My muscles are getting bigger. My legs have gotten bigger, thicker, shoulders, arms, and I'm not getting fatter, so that's good. So I'm going to bulk for real. Now, this is a picture after COVID, after a pump. I was only 255 pounds there. I'm more muscular now, but I was fatter then. But one thing to point out, you can still kind of see my abs, even though I'm probably 20% body fat. So big abs you can see through a layer of fat. So that's one of the pros of training your abs hard and making them big, is you can see them even when you're 15 to 20% body fat. So let's talk about bulking. What is it? It is a period of weeks or often months when you eat more food and lift weights with the specific goal of building muscle or strength while limiting your fat gain. So typically you'll want to get your body fat levels pretty low before doing this, down to like under 15%, closer to 12% for guys, and maybe under 20% for a girl. So you get pretty lean. And then you say, I could use more muscle, I'm gonna bulk. And so then you build muscle and fat until you're about 15% body fat. And then you start cutting again. And you kind of cycle back and forth between those. And that's basically how bodybuilding is done. But anybody whose goal is to have a nice physique, have that lean toned look, that having dedicated bulks, multiple dedicated bulks, is a necessity for that. You can't just diet your way to a toned body. You'll look sickly and skinny, too skinny if you do that, and you're gonna feel like crap because your body needs to have extra tissue to rely on in case food runs out. It's just like the financial advice. They say have a 6-week emergency fund. Well, your body wants a 6-week emergency fund in case food runs out. It prefers to use fat for that, but it will accept muscle if you give it a reason to carry muscle, aka training a lot and eating high protein. I bulked almost nonstop from when I was honestly like 15 till I was 22 because I was playing football and I needed to play D-line. So, I was 220, 230. I was 230 pounds when I was 17 years old. I got up to 270 pounds, 275 when I was 20. And I didn't like being that big, so I kind of leaned out to about 265 for my senior year. So how many calories to eat in a bulk? You want roughly 5 to 15% over your total daily energy expenditure. So that's around 200 to 500 daily calorie surplus. If you go higher than that, you're not going to gain any extra muscle. You'll just gain extra fat. So you're going to have more work to do on your subsequent cut to get that fat off. So there's no point in going higher. You can't speed up the muscle growth process. It's a slow process. You just have to get the right amount of calories, do the right amount of work, and just give it time. So my TDE, based on tracking my calories, how many I eat, and watching my weight gain or loss, it's around 3,350. Fitbit reports that it's 3,700 or 4,000 calories a day. This is an overestimate. If I eat that many calories, I gain weight. So that tells me that's a surplus. And that's a reason why you should not listen to any device that tells you how many calories you're burning. They're wrong. They're always high. I don't know why, but they are. So my cutting calories, I shoot for 2,700 to 3,000 calories per day. My about 1 gram per pound of body weight, 80 to 95 grams of fat, and 200 to 300 grams of carbs. If you compare that to bulking calories, what changes? Mostly just carbs consumed. I ate a lot more cereals. I ate a lot more pastas, nuts, peanut butter. So the foods that you say kind of stay away from when you're cutting, juices even, those are fair game when you're bulking. You just don't want to get too much like super high sugar, super high fat, pizzas, ice creams. That's called dirty bulking. Dirty bulking versus clean bulking. Dirty bulking is essentially you eat whatever you want, too much, you put on more fat than is necessary. Clean bulk, you should still be able to stay pretty lean if you're bulking cleanly. So only a 300 to 500 calorie surplus, you gain 1 to 2 pounds per week. That would be a lot. Maybe a beginner or intermediate can do that. A guy like me, 1 to 2 pounds per week, that's 50 to 100 pounds of muscle per year. No, that's not realistic. For advanced lifters, 1 to 2 pounds per month is actually more realistic. Somebody can put on 10 pounds of muscle in a year. That's a good amount. I can do about 5 to 10, but I usually don't bulk for more than a month at a time. So why bulk? Now, beginner lifters can build muscle while in a calorie deficit. It's called beginner gains. But intermediate and advanced lifters can't. They have to eat a calorie surplus to build muscle. And it doesn't matter how perfectly you train. An advanced lifter will not gain muscle or get stronger eating at maintenance. They have to do bulks. They have to eat in a surplus to build muscle. And then they have to cut down body fat to get back down to their older weight. So then they'll have a higher percentage of muscle over body fat. Look at this guy. Look at his bulk compared to his cut. And look, you can see the tattoos. So you know it's the same guy, even though he looks different. But that's a bodybuilder. That guy's almost certainly using steroids and other gear. But once you've built your new muscle, you switch to a cut to burn off the body fat, reveal your buff new physique. Now you can do this any time of the year. typically most people will bulk in the fall and winter because that's when you're sitting around watching football, hanging out with your family, eating more for the holidays. The problem is most people eat more and don't work out during these times. This is probably the most important time to train because you're eating more. If you're training, you're going to be building muscle instead of just fat. So most people just eat a ton, get super fat. Come New Year's, they try to burn it all off. Well, they haven't really built much muscle. They just built a bunch of fat. And they try to burn it off doing cardio, and then they lose muscle and fat. So that's why that's just a horrible strategy. Most people will bulk until about February, March, and then start cutting for a few months to get ready for summer. I'm doing the opposite. It's summertime, and I'm bulking. Whatever. So rules for eating, bulking 101, eat mostly whole foods. Doesn't matter if you're cutting or bulking. Eat mostly whole foods, but when you're bulking, you can enjoy more junk food. You can enjoy more desserts and pizzas and burgers and fries, but too much of it will cause fat gain, just like when cutting. Your protein doesn't have to be as high when you're bulking. I usually keep it the same. I stay about 1 gram per pound of target body weight either way, but if you eat a ton of protein, if you eat a ton of meat, it can make it harder to hit those higher calories because it's easier to get more calories from carbs and fats. And so sometimes it's easier to eat a little less protein and really pile on the carbs. I've found that if you try to get most of your calories from fats, you will end up building more fat. Muscle is basically just a dumpster fire for carbs. So you can eat a ton of carbs, your muscles will burn them and use them. If you eat too much fat, you'll store more body fat. Snack often. So when cutting, stick to 3 square meals and a protein shake. Bulking, add a 4th or 5th meal. You're going to be pretty much eating all day long to keep that tank full. I mean, I like to eat, and it's still challenging for me to eat 4,000 calories a lot of days. Eat those high calorie dense foods that don't make you feel too full. Cereal, peanut butter, nuts, things that you can snack on. You don't want to fill up on a salad if you're trying to bulk. Eat quicker. Just get that food in your face. Eat it before you feel full. This is the opposite of cutting. If you're trying to lose fat, eat slower so your body can feel fuller before you've eaten too many calories. You can have more calories in your liquids, so juices, shakes, sodas. Don't overdo it. These can screw up your insulin because they give you a spike in sugar. But I would say avoid juices, shakes, and sodas, aside from protein shakes, when you're cutting. But when you're bulking, you can have them more. I still don't drink sodas or juices too often, but you got to eat. Wake up to bedtime, eat. You probably want to give yourself at least a couple hours before bedtime so you're not going to bed with a full stomach. You sleep better. But, a good strategy when cutting is skipping breakfast. It's totally fine. Doing kind of time-restricted eating. People call it intermittent fasting, but you don't really want to do that when bulking. You may have to eat until you're uncomfortably full. Just like you may go hungry when you're trying to cut. Aim to get more calories from carbs, about 50 to 55% of your calories from carbs. How you'll feel full all the time. And it can be harder than, especially if you're not hungry, to feel like I have to feed myself. So that's where it's almost more important to count calories when you're bulking because you're going to go off your hunger and you're not going to be hungry, so you probably won't eat enough. So if you're going to do it right, count your calories, make sure you're eating enough, track your body weight, make sure you're gaining weight if you're doing a dedicated bulk. You'll be noticeably stronger at the gym. You'll be hitting PRs left and right. That's one of the biggest benefits of it. You'll be able to lift more often, and you should lift more often. You'll be able to recover better. So you don't need as much. That's the thing. People cut. They're trying to lose weight, and they exercise more. It really should be the opposite. You don't need to exercise as much when you're cutting. You're already stressing your body by being in a calorie deficit. Adding more exercise than your body can recover from is just going to overstress your body. When your body's overstressed, it's not going to let go of body fat. You can spend more time in the bathroom when you're bulking. More food goes in, more food comes out. You're going to be gassier too. You're going to be more tired. Well, not necessarily tired. Your energy should be higher, but you'll be sleepier. I love napping when I'm bulking. I'm going to bed earlier. I'm a little tired in the morning. I'm not as spry. When I'm cutting, I feel like I have more energy, more focus throughout the day. No, I wouldn't say it affects my focus, but you need more sleep because your body's going to be recovering more. If you're building muscle, it takes about 5,000 calories to build a pound of muscle. Keep that in mind. 3,500 calories to build a pound of fat. It doesn't mean if you lose a pound of muscle, that costs 5,000 calories. That's actually going to cost way less to give up a pound of muscle. But to build it, is very energy expensive, and that's why your body doesn't want to do it. It's like putting money into a savings account that you have to, they take a huge percent, you have to pay 10% on the front end. Your body's a smart financial advisor. He's not going to do that. He's going to put it into the low interest, the low cost fat deposit. When to stop bulking? When you've reached your body weight or strength goal. So a few years ago, before COVID, I hit a 600-pound deadlift, 500-pound squat, 400-pound bench press in the same week. That was my goal. After that, I had to bulk to get there. I couldn't get to those strength levels eating at maintenance. So I had to bulk up to over 240 to hit that. Once I did, I backed off the food and started a cut. If you know you want to be lean by summer or vacation or wedding, give yourself plenty of time to get there. If you know you're going to need to lose 16 pounds of fat, give yourself 16 weeks to lose those. 1 pound per week is a good pace for most people. If you try to go faster than that in a cut, you're going to end up losing muscle. The whole point of a cut is to preserve all that muscle. So the way you do that is keep protein high, keep lifting, don't have too steep of a calorie deficit when cutting. And then for me, usually I just get sick of bulking after 3 to 4 weeks. But for most people, an effective bulk is going to take 5 months at a time. And that's what I did when I was younger. Years and years, I was basically bulking end to end. I basically go from bulking to maintenance, bulking to maintenance. Now I usually go bulking to cutting. But 3 to 4 weeks and I'm spent. But this time we'll see. I want to get up to 245, maybe hang out there for a few weeks. We'll see. But if I don't feel like it, I'm not going to push it. But I should be able to hit 240 and stay there for a while. So we'll see how that goes. So now we go over to my Google Sheet. I weighed in at 238.8 pounds yesterday. I actually finally measured my belly circumference, 34 inches. My sleep score for last week was an 82, so sleeping is going well. Big wins, PRs across the board, strong in the gym, feeling great, muscles getting bigger, not gaining much fat. Struggles, I'm gaining weight, but I like it, so not really a struggle. Everything's going great. Progress in each area. Energy is about the same, but strength is a lot better. It's not often I see gains in PRs every workout, so that's awesome. Not very sore, I feel it, but not for how much I'm lifting. I feel good. Looking good, I'm getting bigger, but it's muscle. It's more muscle than fat. Sleep's good, stress is feeling good, digestion and motivation are great. So changes, I'm going to go to bed and wake up 15 minutes earlier. I'm going to bump that back 15 minutes every week. The sun's up early. I need to get up, and I like getting up and getting work going before the kids are up because I have to help them with breakfast. So it's nice to get at least 30 to 60 minutes of work in before they're up and we're doing breakfast. Bedtime, I hit it 5 times. 2 nights I went to bed at 9:15. That's bulking. Tired, needed that extra sleep. Wake up time, hit it 6 times. I hit my cold plunges, hit my steps, hit 81,000 steps for the week. I did 5 workouts. Going to Habit app, 229 zone 1 minutes, but I missed zone 2 because I didn't do my hit. Did that 5th workout instead and should have meant to get my hit in. I saved it till Sunday. And guess what? I didn't do it on Sunday. It was good to relax. Should have snuck it in there instead of in with that 5th workout, but just didn't do it. I did my 3 days of mobility training, so under 90%. Darn. Oh well, still doing great, still feeling good. Hope you all are too. Get in the 80, 90%, guys. Stay there consistently. You do that for the long haul, and that's how progress is made. You got to do the right stuff in the right amounts for the right amount of time. Take it 1 week, 1 day, 1 play at a time. And that's how you get fit, and that's how you live prime. Hope you all have a great week, and talk to you all soon.